Miami, the city of luxury towers, has gained a reputation for being increasingly unaffordable, a trend frequently blamed on corporate greed, real estate developers, and a massive influx of wealthy out-of-state residents. The surge in the cost of living has impacted locals across multiple sectors. Housing and cost of living income requirements. A single adult needs to make over $100,000, $125,000 a year to live comfortably without being rent-burdened. For a family of 4, that number jumps over $230,000, $250,000. The rent problem. The skyrocketing rental prices are widely attributed to landlords and corporate developers maximizing profits, pushing locals out to make way for higher-income individuals. Wealth influx. The city experienced an overdrive of wealth post-pandemic as executives, remote workers, and investors relocated. Business leaders like Ken Griffin have contributed to this economic shift. If you are looking for localized help with housing rights, tenant issues, or community advocacy against rapid development, reach out to local organizations like the Community Justice Project to see how they are navigating these economic challenges. How has Miami rents becomes high? Miami rents became exceptionally high due to a perfect storm of surging demand from high-earning out-of-state residents, stagnant local wages, skyrocketing landlord operational costs, and a strict legal ban on rent control. This combination has officially made Miami the least affordable city for renters across the United States. The primary factors driving up Miami's rental prices include influx of wealthy newcomers, the billionaire bunker effect. Florida's tax-friendly environment, featuring no state income tax, has pulled tech and finance executives, remote workers, and billionaires in droves, high-earner renters. Many of these wealthy newcomers choose to rent high-end condos while testing out the area, which heavily skews the overall market prices upward. Skyrocketing landlord expenses, insurance and maintenance. Landlords face sharply rising property insurance premiums and property taxes driven by climate vulnerabilities and hurricane risks. Condo regulations. Following the Surfside condo collapse, state-mandated safety inspections, mandatory financial reserves, and repair costs have driven up building fees, which landlords pass directly onto renters. The stagnant local wage gap. Stagnant wages. While local rental prices have soared by over 50% in the last decade, local middle-class wage growth has remained stagnant. Cost burden. The typical local rental average sits over $3,100 per month, leaving the majority of regular Miami workers spending more than half of their income just to keep a roof over their heads. Strict legal barriers to rent control. State prohibitions. Under Florida law, local city governments are strictly prohibited from implementing caps or limits on rent hikes. Unregulated increases. Without any rent control measures, landlords and corporate real estate developers can freely raise lease prices to whatever the open market will bear. If you would like to look into this further, I can provide information on local housing advocacy groups or share the latest average rent costs across different Miami neighborhoods. Which would you prefer? Miami-Dade County affordable issues. Miami-Dade County faces a massive affordable housing shortfall of 90,181 units for households earning below 80% of the area median income. The crisis heavily burdens local service workers, teachers, and medical assistants who earn median local wages well below the thresholds needed to cope with the county's cost of living. The core numbers of the deficit. The total shortage. The county lacks exactly 90,181 affordable rental units for families earning up to $75,000 annually. The projected peak. Real estate assessments predict this gap will grow to 116,000 missing units by 2030 if building trends do not change. Income versus cost. The fastest growing jobs in the county pay less than $19 per hour, meaning working residents can only afford rents between $650 and $1,000 per month. However, the average one-bedroom apartment in Miami still commands upwards of $2,200 to $2,400. Leading causes of the deficit. Unfunded pipelines. Local advocacy groups like Miami Homes for All report that 101 affordable projects containing roughly 14,000 units are fully planned but locked up due to a $1.5 billion financing shortfall. Stagnant local income. over 217,000 county households fall well below the baseline area median income, yet only 70,000 existing county units are priced lower to accommodate them safely. Severe cost burdens. More than 50% of Miami-Dade households spend greater than 30% of their income on housing, with Black and Hispanic communities disproportionately bearing the burden. Local government programs and assistance. Miami-Dade County relies on several active initiatives implemented under the Mayor's Building Blocks program to mitigate the crisis. The Homes Plan. This initiative funnels over $500 million into preserving existing affordable units, fast-tracking construction, and distributing direct aid to struggling renters. The Office of Housing Advocacy, a specialized division that helps families access local resources and housing placement. Residents can seek immediate aid via the county's hotline at 786-469-4545. Tenant protection laws. Renters are legally backed by a local tenant's Bill of Rights and a mandatory requirement that landlords provide 60 days written notice before issuing any rental hikes over 5%. Emergency rental assistance. The county program continues to issue federal funds to families to prevent evictions, having successfully kept more than 22,000 families in their homes. If you are facing an active housing dispute or need financial relief, I can detail the specific eligibility guidelines for ERAP or provide the criteria required for the Affordable Homeownership Program. Which path would you like to explore? AI can make mistakes, so double-check responses. Try without personalization. Connect your Google Content apps for more personalized responses. Continue sites. Miami faces an unprecedented affordable housing shortage of. May 17, 2025, Florida's Miami-Dade County finds itself in the throes of a staggering affordable housing deficit, with more than 90,000 units nay. Miami Homes for All, largest affordability crisis in U.S. Miami-Dade is short 90K housing. May 15, 2024, 100 projects with 14,000 units are in the pipeline, but lack $1.5 billion in funding. Miami-Dade County is short more than 90,000 AFF. Miami Homes for All. 5 key findings from Miami-Dade County's affordable. December 4, 2023, nearly half of Black and Latino households are cost-burdened, compared to 38 to 41% of other households. Much of the disparity. University of Florida show all transit funding issues in Miami-Dade County. Monorail plans to Miami Beach. Miami-Dade County scuttled its controversial Miami Beach monorail project because it was deemed too expensive and inefficient, shifting to a plan that extends the existing Metromover system. However, executing this expansion has been severely slowed by a massive $402 million county-wide revenue deficit, extreme inflation in regional rail infrastructure costs, and state-level transit budget cuts. The evolution of the Miami Beach Transit Link for decades, connecting downtown Miami to South Beach via rail, has been a primary goal of the strategic Miami Area Rapid Transit Program. The technology chosen for this link has undergone significant shifts. The monorail proposal abandoned. In 2019, a private consortium proposed an elevated monorail over the MacArthur Causeway. By late 2022, Miami-Dade County officially canceled the monorail plans. The county cited exorbitant costs, intense pushback from Miami Beach leaders, and the fact that a monorail would force riders to change trains downtown rather than providing a continuous ride. The new Metromover extension. The county replaced the monorail project with a one-seat ride Metromover extension. This plan extends the automated elevated mainland system directly across the bay to South Beach. Current expansion hurdles. The Metromover extension has run into serious operational trouble. The county is locked into a sole source contract with Alstom to upgrade the aging existing downtown track system. That base upgrade project is years behind schedule, pushed out from 2025 to potentially 2029, and costs have ballooned, casting severe doubt on when the Miami Beach extension will actually break ground. Macro transit funding issues in Miami-Dade. The failure to move quickly on the beach corridor highlights systemic funding crises paralyzing South Florida transit. The $402 million deficit. Miami-Dade County entered its 2025-2026 fiscal cycle grappling with a historic $402 million budget shortfall. To avoid painful cuts to existing Metrobus and Metrorail services, Mayor Daniela Levine Cava initially proposed a 50-cent transit fare hike. While county commissioners eventually used reserve funds to temporarily block the fare hike, the county projects another $94 million deficit for 2027, severely limiting spare cash for expansions. Raiding capital reserves. Due to operational budget strains, the administration froze tens of millions of dollars in planned annual payouts to the dedicated Capital Reserve Fund meant strictly for building new rail tracks, stalling long-term smart plan financing. Extreme infrastructure cost inflation. The price to build rapid transit in Miami-Dade has skyrocketed. For context, while the county successfully built and opened the 20-mile South Dade Electric Bus Rapid Transitway for $368 million, heavy rail expansions have become cost-prohibitive. The projected cost of the Smart Plan's North Corridor heavy rail expansion ballooned to an astronomical $4.2 billion, threatening its eligibility for federal grants. State-level budget cuts. Regional transit connections have been further choked by political friction in Tallahassee. The Florida Department of Transportation previously slashed its annual funding for Tri-Rail, the public commuter line running through Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, from $60 million down to $15 million, triggering emergency legislative battles to restore the funding and prevent service shutdowns. If you are tracking these infrastructure rollouts, I can provide the latest timelines for the Northeast Corridor commuter rail line or details on how the People's Transportation Plan half-penny sales tax is currently being allocated. Which would you like to explore? Greater Miami ranks as the second most traffic-congested metropolitan area in the United States, trailing only Los Angeles. According to recent data from the TomTom Traffic Index, Miami commuters face an average city congestion level of 46.8%, causing a typical driver to lose roughly 75 hours per year sitting in idling traffic, amounting to nearly 2 full work weeks. The worsening gridlock is fueled by unique local dynamics, infrastructure bottlenecks, and major events. Primary drivers of Miami gridlock. The Miami time tax. Traffic data highlights that gridlock costs the local economy significantly. Delays and missed business meetings equate to roughly $1,381 to $1,700 in lost productivity and fuel annually per driver. Cruise market bottlenecks. Massive daily volumes of cruise passengers traveling between Miami International Airport and Port Miami saturate downtown connecting roads. This has forced the county to evaluate a nonstop, direct airport-to-port train line to alleviate localized bottlenecking. Massive event surges. Locals report that gridlock severely spikes during international event weeks such as Art Basel Miami Beach, Formula One, or the Lexus Corporate Run, which trigger extensive multi-hour road closures. Major hotspots and construction choke points. The Golden Glades Interchange. Massive, year-long construction lane shifts on I-95 northbound at the Golden Glades require drivers heading to Florida's Turnpike or State Road 826 to merge into a single early left lane, causing daily delays. Palmetto Expressway and I-75, high-density freight corridors and merging express lanes create heavy friction, particularly during the morning and evening rush hours. Surface street detours. Ongoing regional projects, such as the County Line Road upgrades and severe railroad crossing rehabilitations on Opa-locka Boulevard, continuously redirect traffic onto secondary local roads. Real-time monitoring and transit alternatives. If you are currently commuting, you can review live gridlock maps and active crash logs via the NBC Miami Traffic Center or the Miami-Dade County Incident Portal. Because the county's public rail options are currently single tracking platforms for station upgrades, using a navigation app like Waze or Google Maps remains essential to bypass active construction choke points. If you are trying to optimize a regular commute, I can provide the peak congestion hours for specific highways or look up the latest detours for the major bridges and causeways. What would help you most?